Hello everyone, I'm Yazan Ibrahim, or as some of you might know me, Yazan Abu Ghosh. Today we're going to dive into a fascinating and essential topic, Fraud Examiners Section 1, Financial Transactions and Fraud Schemes. Welcome to today's deep dive into the world of fraud, where we'll explore the contract and procurement fraud, basics of contract law, methods of procurement, phases in the procurement process, categories of procurement fraud schemes, preventing contract and procurement fraud. Whether you're an aspiring fraud investigator, a business owner, or simply curious about how organizations manage their finances, or if you are auditor, this journey will shed light on the often complex systems that drive decision-making. The foundation of accounting. When organizations think about acquiring goods or services, the process isn't merely a transaction. It's part of a highly organized and structured system that we call procurement. Imagine the procurement process as a massive machine with gears turning in harmony, each gear representing a phase or component: contracts, negotiation, laws, and anti-fraud mechanisms. This system isn't just about buying, it's about ensuring transparency, value for money, and safeguarding fairness. In this presentation, we'll journey through the essential mechanisms of procurement, unravel the basics of contract law, dissect different methods of acquisition, uncover common procurement fraud strategies, and most importantly, discuss how to detect and prevent these schemes. Let's start with contracts, the very backbone of any procurement process. A contract is like a handshake, but one that's enforceable by law, ensuring both parties deliver on their agreed promises. But what exactly makes a contract valid or enforceable? At its heart, a contract must meet 6 essential elements: a lawful subject matter, competent parties, mutual agreement, intent to be legally bound, legal consideration, and adherence to permissible forms. Think of these as the sturdy pillars holding up a bridge. If even one pillar is missing or cracks under pressure, the entire structure of the contract could collapse. Now picture this. 2 parties sitting down to draft a contract. They must first ensure the subject matter isn't illegal or against public policy. For instance, you can't sign a deal to buy counterfeit goods. That's an easy example of an unlawful subject. Additionally, both parties must be competent, meaning individuals must be of lawful age, and if they represent organizations, those entities must be properly organized and legally authorized. Once legality and competency are in check comes the moment of agreement. Imagine this like a delicate dance. One party makes an offer, defined terms, clear intentions, and willingness to be bound, while the other party agrees through acceptance. But here's the catch. Acceptance isn't just a nod of the head. It has to be expressed clearly and communicated effectively. Equally essential is legal consideration, a concept that may seem abstract but is quite straightforward. Both parties must exchange something of value, creating a balance of benefit and detriment. Whether it's money, services, or relinquishing certain actions, this exchange is what ties the agreement together and gives it weight. Interestingly, in some legal systems, like those in France or Germany, consideration isn't mandatory, showcasing the fascinating global diversity in contract law. A contract also needs to follow specific legal forms. Take written contracts, for example. For certain agreements, like those involving real estate or high-value transactions, writing isn't just preferred, it's mandatory to ensure enforceability. And what happens when a party doesn't deliver, or worse, announces upfront they won't fulfill their promises? That's a breach of contract. Imagine a bridge collapsing mid-drive. Such a situation forces the affected party to seek damages or, in specific cases, demand the court to enforce the contract's terms through specific performance. Shift gears now to procurement methods. Acquiring goods and services isn't a one-size-fits-all endeavor. Different scenarios call for varying approaches. From competitive bidding to simplified procedures, the choice of method depends on the complexity and urgency of the need. Let's head first to the bustling arena of competitive bidding. Picture a silent auction. The bidders submit their sealed offers without knowing what their competitors propose. This method relies on equality, where every bidder adheres to the same terms and conditions, and the contract is awarded solely on the best price and terms. However, sealed bids are suitable only when the requirements are crystal clear, the stakes or dollar value are high, and the entity has ample time to evaluate proposals. But not all procurements are this straightforward. Sometimes when cost isn't the sole deciding factor, competitive negotiation steps in. Here, the bidding process takes on a conversational nature, allowing buyers and potential vendors to discuss technicalities and adjust proposals. For instance, when dealing with a vague or highly specialized acquisition, negotiation acts as a fine-tuning mechanism, ensuring all parties align before sealing the deal. This extra flexibility, however, comes at the cost of time. It's like sculpting a statue, slow but intentional. And then there's sole source contracting, which bypasses competition entirely. While it might sound like a loophole, it's justified in unique situations, like when only one supplier possesses the monopoly on a critical resource or when national security is at stake. Imagine relying on a lone engineer to fix an advanced machine no one else can touch. There's just no option but to negotiate directly and accept the terms. That said, justification is required, particularly under frameworks like the US Federal Acquisition Regulation, ensuring this exception isn't abused.